I will suggest to start with short updates from the working groups, what they achieved regarding cost savings in the last month and plans for the future. As we discussed last time, I created this issue to track the overall efforts we have regarding cost savings. I forgot to say hello to the TUC meeting, 8th of July. I'm sorry. I hope recording works. Yeah, we have this meta issue to track the efforts regarding costs. I also created a label which I'm using to label all the issues related to cost savings. I named that automation costs. Yeah. Maybe we can start in the order which we have here, just shortly when the working group leads are here, they can provide short update. The first one is the working group where I'm active, foundational infrastructure working group. So what we did in this 1 month, we switched the Bosch Brutwald automation to a cheaper region. So we decided to take Europe North, Stockholm, Europe North 2, which is Stockholm. It should be the cheapest one. We did the same for the stem cell automation, which validates and is the stem cell. Additionally, I've been analyzing what the concourse costs are in our working group. So I created here a breakdown about the different costs we have, different resources we generate costs for our concourse. In the foundational infrastructure working group. So we have 3 workers. Just as example to discuss what the costs are. So we have 3 workers, 16 CPUs, 64 gigabyte RAM. We have the web worker, which is, I think, 2 CPUs, 8. If I'm not mistaken, it should be most probably somewhere here. Yeah, here. And looking into the cost, those compute instances are generating. So for the last month, June, so we had around $1,000 for the CPUs, around 550 for the used RAM. In our setup, unfortunately, there is a mismatch where the compute instances are and the database. That's why there are inter-region data transfer costs, which we are going to fix with this PR. Of $650 around. And costs for the Postgres SQL we use for our concourse. So around 3K. I think with the 2 open PRs here to reduce the SSD disk from 1 terabyte to 500 gigabyte. I think this should fit well. I've been looking in utilizations and different metrics for throughput and operations. We can try with 500 and see how it goes, and maybe we can reduce more. And this will save around $300. And here the PR is about to co-locate the compute instances with the database. At the moment, the database is in Netherlands. No, the compute engines, compute instances are in London, and the database is in Netherlands. That's why we generate this inter-region costs for data transfer. Within the region, it's free. So if we co-locate, this will be fine. This is also something I added. I think I added to the guides. We have, if we have a central concourse, we should also take care in which region we deploy stuff, so that we avoid. We have to agree about the region most probably for the different resources we use to not generate data transfer costs. And yeah, I think we can also reduce the compute instances to 8 CPUs 32, looking to utilization, but this needs monitoring. At the moment, the GCP Ops agent is not active on the workers. This is not by default. You need to install this and monitor to get data about using RAM and disk utilization. CPU utilization you get, but RAM utilization you don't get without that. So I think we will discuss this in our working group, and then shouldn't be any high risk to at that agent. It is doing only forwarding metrics to egress. No inbound, doesn't require any inbound communication. And the CRED Hub area, they had also some, they also reduced almost, they had a little bit more than 1000K per month, so 1200, and they managed to reduce to around $600-700 per month. The current forecast is like that by executing the deleting unused resources, reducing the unnecessary CI runs, resizing VMs, and doing ephemeral environments, implementing ephemeral environments instead of long running. So in short, we have switched to a cheaper region. We have some planned optimization for the concourse. I think we can bring the cost below 2K, but I don't know whether you can, maybe 1.5, the half of the 3K, but below that, I'm not sure whether we can go. Yeah, this is about foundation infrastructure working group. Any questions?
Are there like metrics that reflect this, like new ones? We had the starting point, like last time we had all these CSVs. Oh yeah, that's this message we're looking at, right?
I mean, I didn't mention this, but to find these details, you need to download the bio SKU per SKU CSV file. You find there more details. Looking just in the UI, you don't see so much details about the costs and the different. So if you download the file, you can, the cost per SKU, you can find more details and looking into the regions, and so you can more correlate costs with resources in GCP, even without labels. We have labels for some of them, but there is also an option to enable BigQuery. That doesn't seem to be to cost much, so that you can export the report to the BigQuery and then look inside BigQuery the same details. I used Excel, just downloaded that file and imported in Excel and looked into that, but looking into documentation, doing that with BigQuery should be also possible without Excel. Yeah. And internally, the data is too aggregated. You cannot find many details. So we need really the GCP report to find more details.
Hey, Beyhan, this is Shah from the Linux Foundation. We met to talk about ternary and some other things a few weeks ago. It was my first time joining the call. Thank you, Chris, for including me. I just wanted to say that we have another tool. I don't know if I showed you all last time, but it's called Point 5. Basically, it just provides optimization recommendations, and I did a filter on this FI working group. I did a filter on all the Cloud Foundry projects, and there's a number of opportunities that and some of them are quick and easy wins, I would say. So if you wanted, I've never joined this, I don't want to derail the call, but if you wanted to talk about it now or later or at any point, I'm happy to show you some of the recommendations that we have too.
So what we did last time, we exported the recommendations from ternary, here all the recommendation, and we also looked into those and implemented the recommendations at least, which we had. I forgot to mention this in the tool. I don't know whether the other one provides more recommendations.
It does. So if you notice, a lot of these recommendations that you get from ternary, they're what ternary calls as pass-through recommendations. It's going to be generally the same ones that the GCP console would also
Yes.
share, like turn off an unused VM or whatever, resize or something.
Yeah.
But this other one, like for example, in this one GCP project, there's a recommendation around the storage buckets. There's like objects that haven't been accessed in a long time that are still using like a higher tier of storage. So if you were to use like GCP's auto class capability, it's saying that you could save like, let me see how much it was. It was a good amount, like 600 a month or something. Yeah, like almost $1,000 a month, just for this one account, and then this one GCP project. So yeah, I mean, at any point, if you wanted, I mean, like show you these recommendations or this call, another call, or email or whatever, just let me know. There's a lot of recommendations. So particularly for this GCP project, for like the Diego pivotal, a couple other ones. So happy to share that whenever.
Can you export those recommendations somewhere that we like can convert it into issues
Yeah.
and track it that way? Because it's, I think that's more efficient if we can do it asynchronously.
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that and I'll just email it to this group here.
Yeah. Any file would be fine, and then we convert it into a GitHub issue and go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
We
because
also
I'm
noticed-
assuming, I want to say, I'm assuming there's no way to get us access to that dashboard or something, right? Or that's
Not right now. Not right now, because it has across all of the Linux Foundation has everybody's data aggregated together.
yeah,
But
that makes sense.
yeah, we just rolled this out. So like if we figure out a way to scope down access and things like that, I'd be happy to give you guys access directly.
Yeah, no, but let's go with a dump for now, and then
Sure.
we can at least try to take action.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Shah. Okay, we can continue with application runtime deployment.
So, hello everyone. Let me share. No, Beyhan, you're still sharing?
You want to share? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So, desktop, this one, I think. So, this is the collecting issue for all our activities, all cost-saving activities for application runtime deployments. So what we have already done is change the trigger of our main validation pipeline. It's now triggered only once per day instead of for every commit. As most of our test environments run on GCP, we can already see a significant effect. So we changed this in June. And you can see that the monthly cost for compute engine dropped from 6K to around 5K per month. So quite significant. We have two AWS test environments. Here the effect is not so obvious because we created a new one for IPv6 in May. And then we also triggered those, the IPv6 and then another one also only once per day. And you see also a certain drop here in cost. It's not so high as in GCP. So yeah, it might take a little longer until the effect gets fully visible. What we also started is moving our test environments from Europe Central to US East 1, as that region is much cheaper in GCP. But so far we've done it only for one test environment to test the whole procedure, what exactly has to be done to tear down and set up a Bosch bootloader environment again. And we will do this also for all other GCP test environments. And what's also planned, but this might take a little longer, is move our concourse instances to a cheaper region. It's, however, only 5 VMs or so. So for that, we don't expect too much benefit. Okay, any questions? Okay. Beyhan, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. The next working group should be application runtime interfaces.
Okay. Good. Sharing should work. We have done similar things like the application runtime deployments working group. In copy validation, we had one environment that was long-lived instead of short-lived. We have converted that into a short-lived environment and saved here some money. Then we moved all our bubble environments from Europe region to US East 1, because that's roughly 20% or something like that cheaper. Then we had one issue with bubble environments on failing tests because, not by incident, but actually if something failed, the environments were kept alive to make debugging easier. But due to cost saving, we now decided to download or to potentially later download copy logs and save them in the blob store, but otherwise terminate these environments anyway. And let me see. I have this in this ternary report. It's now 90 days, so don't get surprised by this number. Where we have seen, especially in the Europe region, the cost has gone down quite significantly due to the move. The space load here is actually the concourse and some bubble environments, I think, from Autoscaler, where we talk separately. And you see that on the other hand, in US East, this yellow graph here goes now sporadically up and down because that's the bubble environments, short-lived bubble environments that are created depending on validation runs. We still run our validations per commit, and at least there are currently no plans to change that. I'm not even sure whether it will really save something because there are days where there are no commits and it doesn't make sense to have a run. So it's better invested money to have the changes in the cloud controller really validated.
Yeah, so at this point, I think our two largest expenses are the concourse and the autoscaler long-lived environments, which we're still looking into.
Yeah. For concourse, there is a plan to move it also into a cheaper region that saves then 20%, and there is this long-term idea, I guess, where we talk later about for central concourse, but yeah, that's long-term.
What's the utilization on the concourse?
It should be pretty high. I mean, we have several times scaled this concourse out more VMs because copy validations broke and were unstable.
Yeah, but I'm like, you said also that you have like not even a commit every day, right? So
It
like,
depends really. Yeah.
is it spiky? Is it spikes, or is it like continuous load?
I would say it spikes. If there's a lot of work and we need the VMs in order to pass a validation through. But there are also days when there's not a lot of load. I don't know
Yeah,
if there's
because
dynamic scaling or something, but that makes it.
no, but I'm
Yeah.
like that's a good argument for trying to put it in a centralized concourse,
Mhm.
right? That's a load that would benefit from putting it in a central place.
So this
If
you
it's
can
spiked.
see, Stephan, in GCP console. They have monitoring data for the last 1 month or 6 weeks. I've been looking into hours, and hours are also spikes. So the average CPU load is around 30%, 30-40.
Yeah, I have not yet looked into it, but we can do that.
But I missed the data about the RAM utilization, which you don't get. You need to install that ops agent, GCP ops agent. So that's why I didn't created something to scale down at the moment. So you need CPU and RAM. Okay, are there any questions? Are you done, Stephan?
Yep, that's maybe one thing we are for copy. We are now tagging all our environments, and Autoscaler is working on tagging so that we can from then on basically delete all untagged resources and see if somebody cries. In case there are zombie devices. The long list of zombie devices were actually also not there anymore because these were short-lived environments that were temporarily found only.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, then I'm done.
to the autoscaler long-lived environment, that's also now hibernated, so it only runs now 12 hours of each working day. So yeah, cost should also go down there.
And you have plans, Silvestre, to move from a Bosch environment to CF-based or?
Yes, of course, that's also, but that's a little bit more long term, so it's not in this month or next month maybe.
We all this reduce cost, which CF instance you can use then?
Well, it depends. Directly, it would not reduce costs on the CF deployed, but it would, of course, not add any more Bosch deployed costs. Right, so it would go down a bit.
Okay, the next working group is application runtime platform.
Yeah. Okay. So here's some of our many releases. I think the big thing we've done is that we're only running tests with environments. So these are all like unit tests. Those run on every commit. And anything past here requires a real environment. And they now only get run weekly. So that will cut down a big amount of costs. And those environments are spun up on a as needed basis. So they're not long running. You can see here, this is when we used to have longer environments and maybe some weeks. We got a nice sharp cutoff here. But it's been all a new process, right? We've been switching to bubble. We've been switching to these short-term environments and spinning them up and down. And my group has been adamant that, for example, these are all acceptance tests that run on a real environment. And let's say it runs cats first. These all have to be run one at a time. It runs cats first and fails. They still want it to run the other acceptance tests to get that feedback. There's been a lot of work around how do we make sure that it runs all of them and then only releases it at the end once they've all run, not just on failure. And that has caused, I'm going to say, there's potential, but caused a lot of bugs in this. So we've been leaking a lot. Let's see what's in chat. And so most of my time recently has been monitoring this to make sure we're not leaking environments. So I have a script that runs multiple times a day to tell me which VMs are running. Basically, so I have two main projects that I look at. These I know are just our normal concourse. Those can be running all the time. And then I see, oh, Diego has some Bosch machines running and they've been running for 13 hours. That means they haven't been cleaned up yet. So we're working on making sure our pipeline's cleaned up correctly, and I'm diligently monitoring it because that's what these spikes are basically, are things that aren't being cleaned up on time. It's been a lot of fun for me. Actually, writing the scripts to monitor it is fun, but I do feel like this is just my job now. The other big thing, cost savings, is, or maybe I'll say here that this purple line is basically all concourse costs, and this blue line is all environment costs. So I would love to get onto the shared concourse, and we would basically just have this much. Of course, like some of this cost will move over to the shared concourse group. I tried to split that up. So basically, I think at least about $500 would just be saved and wouldn't, that's like our web process and our Bosch jump box and the database, etc. And then our other workers cost about $2,000. They're very spiky, like everyone else has said. So I suspect there will be some savings and some cost will be just transferred to the other working group. So my big effort right now is to make sure we're not leaking environments. And whenever that concourse is ready to start moving things over to it. Any questions?
Okay. No questions. Thanks, Amelia. And we have, last but not least, Kubernetes, CF on Kubernetes working group.
So During the last week, we've cleaned up a couple of resources that were reported as unused. Unfortunately, the result was quite negligible. It was just a couple of dollars per month. So the next logical step would be to migrate to a cheaper region, maybe Europe North. Question to those of you who've already done it, is it possible to preserve the Concourse database while migrating to that cheaper region? Because our Concourse database contains quite a lot of information about past flakes, which we often analyze.
I didn't
Which
hear anyone moving it. Yeah. Ruben.
which Concourse setup are you using? The
You're running,
Kubernetes one with
yeah,
Cloud SQL? Yes,
yeah.
I think it's no. I think you have to export the database and import it again in the new region. As we
Just
were trying
Postgres,
this
right?
soon on our test instance, but with the given Terraform setup, it's challenging to move the region.
Yeah,
But it's
sounds
just
so
Postgres,
challenging.
right?
Sorry?
It's just Postgres, right? It should be pretty trivial to make a Postgres dump.
Yes, but it's with downtime. Of course, it's trivial. You do a dump and restore, and
Yeah, but I'm
but
like the downtime. It's just it only affects your working group, right? So it should be
yeah,
fine.
sure, yeah.
We don't have a central one yet, so it's fine.
Yeah, okay.
So when we move to a cheaper region, the next step would be to actually reduce the number of CI executions. That would be the price of quality drop, because we run as many tests as possible to be aware of any potential flakes. So fewer runs, fewer flakes, more unnoticed problems maybe. But I guess that this would be a question to further optimize once we probably define a target we should aim to.
And I mean, I think it's about it really matters on the frequency of code changes you have, right? But like weekly or daily could already like maybe reduce.
Well, generally, we're running all the checks on every commit, but besides that, we're using the night to run tests over and over again, just to spot flake tests.
So you run the tests even for the same commit multiple times.
Yeah.
I see. And that, like, what's the rate at which you find issues with that method? Like, what's the are you finding many issues with that? Or
sort of, yeah. Especially when we're working on some hard to implement features, we occasionally introduce flakes. And yeah, once you spot a flake test, it's kind of nice to be able to traverse back to the history of execution and see how often it happens. For example, if it happens once a year, probably not worth investigating. But it's useful, yeah.
yeah, I understand it's useful. It's also, but it's a trade-off, right? I don't think we have that type of testing for the rest of the system, right? We're not running flake tests on, for example, Diego, or are we?
No.
And like maybe if it's something that you can predict, as in you know that this is a particularly hard feature, you could enable it, right? But not have it always run. I think that could be an area to look into.
Yeah, we could think of strategies. But still, are we going to define some target we need to aim to? Because we can try to cut down costs as much as we can, but at some point it becomes unfeasible.
Chris, you are going to go to the board to get something like that, right?
Yeah,
Beyhan?
we have a board meeting next week, so we can kind of discuss this. I mean, I think there's been a lot of progress made here, so I really appreciate everyone's efforts on this. But we don't exactly know, like, we're starting to see it in ternary, so we should see how much these effects have had. Then there's outside of GCP, there's questions of Slack, AWS credits. I just applied for AWS credits for a couple of working group projects, so hopefully that'll start kicking in and AWS will be a little bit cheaper. But GCP was really the biggest piece of the pie here, so this was the most important thing to kind of get under control. And then Slack is a big question too, because that would be could be an instant $5,000 a month savings. So yeah, I think we'll chat with the governing board about this next week. As of right now, just any optimizations we can make that don't directly inhibit development and aren't too painful. It's great to do. But I think we'll have some clearer metrics or guidance on this soon.
And coming to that, I think you are already done, Daniel. Or...
Yeah.
So we have one issue while we collect these ideas, what can be done. It will be good if every working group looks into this issue and tries to let me share again. So I'm not sharing anymore. So there is one issue, create automation cost optimization guide. And here are some ideas what can be done. So people just, I've been looking into the different issues, what people are doing, and I just collect here the different ideas. You're also free to add something, for example, Peter added something here. This is the idea behind this is to collect generic ideas which can be used to optimize our automation and reduce the costs. So you can check on this and then try to find out what does it mean for your working group. And also, unfortunately, Derek need to leave. I think there is also the RFC, which he's preparing to provide a central concourse. At least looking in our concourse costs, I think it makes also for our working group to use the central one. But yeah, we need to look in more details here. Do you want to add something? This was interesting for me. Maybe you can also try to find out if you have some network costs, if things are really, yeah, I think in the concourse RFC, we should put something about the region, something about which region should be used, so to have a configurable region or something like that. Because moving to a central concourse, if you generate a lot of data transfer costs, also will be not so optimal.
Yeah, that should probably be called out in the RFC, right? Like if you want to onboard, you have to move all your CI, like not only your concourse jobs, but also like the environments that are being created should also be in the same region as the concourse, right? I think that's basically a requirement for onboarding.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, not everything needs to be, but things like we generate communication between resources, generating communication.
I mean, we're not going to be able to move stem cell uploads there, right? Because they need to go. You need to create them in other regions. Also, if you're testing on AWS, for example, you still are going to get outgoing traffic.
Yeah, I also saw that the buckets we have a little bit distributed. Maybe we can
I see.
have
Those are hard
a guidance for the buckets where they're located to maybe yeah, if we have a central concourse in a dedicated region, maybe we can also move our buckets there for the stem cells so that at least the CI doesn't produce download costs.
Yeah, makes sense.
At the moment, we have around 700 costs for downloading stuff, but most probably this is people downloading the stem cell. I think this is hard to find out who is generally. Yeah. Okay. Anything else regarding costs discussion? I will, so we will schedule another meeting in 1 month. There are plans in the working groups. Don't think we need to have now something concrete. We have the issues and we have ideas what can be done. And yeah.
Oh, Shah, just in the chat there. Yeah, David Stevenson had mainly been driving that, but we had talked about creating a separate GCP account under separate billing account for Cloud Foundry so that we could purchase GCP CUDs.
Yeah. So okay. So is that something that the team wants to move forward with? Because I just need to create a separate billing account, but it takes a little bit of time just to get it set up with all the right parameters. But if that's what you guys want to do, I'm happy to kick that off as well.
I think if we have a central concourse, it will be a good fit to have for that concourse at least something like that, which
yeah, I mean that would reduce overall costs, right? So I think
yeah, central billing account spans across multiple accounts, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah, so right now, all of your GCP projects are attached to the Linux Foundation Enterprise billing account, which is why I don't think any of you have access to that billing account. But if we were to create a separate billing account, then you all can purchase CUDs and not worry about other projects, utilizing those CUDs. And then since it's just your own projects, we could give everyone here whatever level of access they need to the billing account directly.
Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I'll get that process kicked off. It takes, just to be transparent, maybe a week or two at least. So
sure.
I would think maybe 2 weeks. So Chris, I'll sync with you on that one.
Okay, that's perfect. Thanks. Yeah, appreciate you joining, Shah. And yeah, like I said, everyone, great work on all this. This is really good progress. We'll talk to the governing board next week. And now that we're making some good headway on GCP, we'll keep moving with that, but then also look at ways to save money on AWS. Yeah, I don't know if we want to have a conversation about Slack on this call. It's a little bit separate, but we I want to move that forward and try and cut those costs soon.
Okay. And we will get some recommendation from that other tool, Shah, you mentioned.
Yeah, I just did an export right now. I don't have everyone's email, so maybe I'll share it with Chris. And Chris, if you don't mind, if you could just share it to.
Yeah, I can drop it in the TSC channel in Slack.
Perfect, thank you.
If we still have a Slack.
You're gonna still have a Slack.
Okay.
Okay, then we can continue with our TUC agenda. So this will be reviewing action items, going over the PRs and issues, and talking about any other business. Action items from last week. Okay, I still have this one. I didn't look into this. I think I will stop just this decommit on that because it's not so important. Yeah, I didn't have time. And we had the update of the TUC membership. We have now Greg and Chris, the new TUC members. They should have access to the GitHub project TUC access. Still waiting for Chris to approve the invitation. I'm unable to assign him to the PRs because he's not yet in the TUC team on GitHub. Okay, then going to the board. This looks now good for merging. Stephan, should we ask also Jeff for a review? He was the author of the script, or do you think it's
If it's not working, we can nail down Pascal
okay?
Yeah.
until it is working.
I think Jeff is happy to hand over the ownership of this script, right? That's what the PR is about.
Ah, that's the automatic handover by
Yes.
PR.
I didn't
You've
have
touched
time
too many
to
lines. You're the owner now.
Yeah.
didn't have time to look into it, but we have, I think, 2 reviews. What changes should be fine. Ruben was quite fast. Okay, I will then merge. It's just we have yeah, a bunch to delete. So this now is ready to come for merge. Oh no, this is the service management working group. So I thought it's the RFC change. So it's still not implemented what you mentioned here about the easy CLA policy.
I think the ECLA context check is not needed on project level. At least none of the other projects has that. That should be on org level somehow.
We should even not allow this. Was my thought.
This is something different. Allow disabled policies is a property that you need to have. And it's actually not, if I got it right, I didn't invest too much time into it. It's not the property of branch protection of GitHub, but it's something of this branch protector tool that somehow allows to configure something on org level and then on repo level. And I don't know, in the documentation, when I back then implemented it, I noted down that you need this to true, and everything that is generated automatically and everything that we have maintained in this branch protection YAML, so where something was overridden, has this allow disabled policies true. I think if I remember correctly, there's something, if you enable branch protection on org level, then you need this property in order to allow that a repository can opt out of branch protection completely. Something like this. And do not trust any AI agents telling you what allow disable policy is. They're all lying.
You didn't find the right one.
But they have lots of text. Unfortunately, it doesn't match the GitHub documentation, but okay, something different.
Okay, but we still need should wait for the change and the ask of several was that we first merge this one before merging the other. So we have to wait on that one. So this is from the docs working group. So people who are not active anymore in the working group. So only Anita is now active in the working group, and she cannot approve the PR by herself. So we need to help here. Basically, two new people will help Anita, and Samia is not active anymore. I pinged her in a different PR. She didn't react here again. Usually we wait 2 weeks, but I pinged her in a different PR and she didn't react. I don't know. We can wait another week. I have some approvals already. I think this is fine to.
I was wondering, do these people have ECCLA signed? The new people that we're adding?
Ruben, you're asking questions. I don't know.
Yeah, it's usually better to ask the people to open the PR than they cannot bypass this.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take back my approval. Yeah,
Okay,
because I think that's better, right? Like we can have.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah, I think this PR should just be the removal, and then the addition of these people needs to be done by themselves. They need to raise the PRs.
Okay.
I left the comment. Oh.
You already left a comment. Okay. That's already done. I have the additional information to only remove.
Yeah, that's okay.
Samuel with this PR. Okay, then we discuss this. Most probably you don't have much time. Should we just inactive user needs to wait? So we have 2 minutes. On the RFC side, we have a lot of RFCs. I think most of them are still in discussion. Only the service credential binding rotation. So there was an update we did with Stephan last week, and I didn't see any other comments after that. I don't know whether Greg or Ruben, you had time or anyone else to look.
Yeah,
I would.
just say I saw there was an update, but I haven't read through it yet.
Yeah, tomorrow is CAPI open office hour. That's also another good opportunity to advertise.
Yeah, okay. We don't need to urge, so we can wait another week. Yeah, here. Yeah. Okay. And we have a new one, which is about, most probably we discussed already last week the ones in progress, and they are still in discussion. I checked before the meeting, and there is a new one about introducing hash-based routing. Yeah. So we have now the possibility to have routing algorithm configuration on route level, and this one is about having another routing algorithm hash-based. So you can, yeah, you can check on that. It's a new one. Any comments? Just top of mind, just seeing that one. And regarding issues, I think Ram mentioned that there is a proposal for the CF providers page, which we want to add to the crowdfounder.org. You can check on this if you have you want to provide feedback. Here is Ram. Do you want to say something?
It's a pretty straightforward reproduction of the copy that everyone had shared from their respective organizations. So thanks so much for all your inputs. I saw some comments from some people which I was able to resolve, but I'll open it for a couple of weeks for some comment period and then transfer it to the web team. And Mike, who usually does all of our pages, will take care of this as well. Again, if you would require some changes beyond the due date, it is possible to make them, but we'd much rather not have those changes because then it takes time, it takes money, and it takes effort to go back and make changes. So anything you can provide within the review period is really appreciated.
Okay, thank you. And maybe finally, we don't have much time. CF Day Europe, is there something to share?
The program committee will be, sorry, Ramco.
No, go ahead, Chris. I was just going to say something.
Yeah, the program committee will be meeting on Monday to go through all the talks. I think we had 52 submissions, so that's really strong. So yeah, should be a great event. It's October 7th in Frankfurt. So hopefully lots of you can make it, but the program committee should have decisions about talks sometime next week.
Great. Happy to hear that we have strong submissions. Okay, we are slightly over time. Thanks to everyone for the time and all the efforts around the cost activities and all the other things. And see you next week. Take care. Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.